So friends, this is Adnan Qaiser once again, presenting you the part two of our discussion on sales. In the part one, we went through the introduction part and we discussed what sales exactly is and what is its relationship with our everyday life. We also discussed about certain prerequisites or requirements to be a good salesperson. There are a few points which I had mentioned. It's very important for you to remember them. So with this, I come with to the next part of our discussion, which talks about sales terminologies. Please understand there are so many sales terminologies. Sales is a very vast subject. So you must have come across several words, terms, terminologies. I will just restrict myself today with two of them. As I have noted that in our Eastern environment, these two terminologies are not frequently used. So pay attention to them. They might be helpful to you. So the first one is called cross-selling. Cross-selling. And the second one is called upselling. So as evident from the word cross-selling, it means about making sales in a cross-section of assorted products which are interconnected to each other. For instance, if you were to sell digital cameras, which are no more in fashion these days, you would not only require to sell the camera, but you would be also expected to sell its assorted product. Remember, I mentioned just in the last session about my personal experience that after selling a digital camera, the salesperson wanted to sell the micro SD card for storage purposes as well. So after selling the main product, when you begin identifying and selling the assorted products to your customer, it's called cross-selling. So there are several things in them. I'll just restrict myself to a few. The first one is, it's very important for you to understand, it's called extended warranty. Here I would, first of all, I would like to clarify between the word warranty and guarantee. So guarantee you normally give for individuals and people. Warranty is about is given for products and things which are lifeless. So a common element in sales these days is to sell extended warranties because the manufacturer only gives a limited, and note down the word limited, narrow or restricted warranty with caveats. Caveats are the escape clauses or what is called the fine print, which nobody pays attention. So the manufacturer wants to have limited liability for a product in case it breaks down or there is a malfunction about the product. So the purpose is to make the return or repair of the product after its sale so expensive and cumbersome for the customer that the customer prefers to throw away the product and buy a new one. Moreover, mind you that manufacturers' warranties are never over-encompassing or comprehensive warranties, so they are always limited in nature. And most of the time, you need to bear the cost of the shipping out the product on yourself. So that makes it further discouraging as a customer for you to ship the product out to the manufacturer and get a new one or getting it repaired. So that's why extended warranties, which are complementary in nature, they are offered on several products and services. They're offered generally by a third party provider. It's just like like an insurance coverage on auto or home insurance, which we need only in case of an emergency. So, in case of a crashing out of a product or its malfunction. However, it's very important for you to understand that the experts have found out that as a buyer, you don't need extended warranties because they have found that the products generally last for one year and they do not break frequently. So it's just an additional investment you may, as a customer, you may like to invest just to have a peace of mind and to avoid any hassle in the future. But frankly speaking, you don't need extended warranties. It's a complex discussion. I leave it for some other time. Try to understand the manufacturing dynamics these days about different products. Electronics are very, very important for us in our everyday life. I'll distract you, but it's important for you to exactly know what is happening in the field of manufacturing electronics, especially these days. In olden times, you must have noticed that the products used to be very, very robust. They used to be sturdy. They used to last long, like from our grandfather to our father and to us. So at least 2 generations, the product used to last long. The fans which we used to have, they were very, very sturdy. Not anymore. They are made with cheap and inexpensive material, and they frequently break down, so causing you as a customer a lot of problems. So this is happening because a lot of technological innovations are taking place at a very, very rapid pace in the field of manufacturing. So just look around, and you will find this mobile phones and the cellular technology, how fast it is being changed. Like new things are coming, new and newer mobile phones are being introduced into the market. Even the LCD and LED television sets and computers and laptops. So in order to keep selling these products, if a manufacturer makes robust and sturdy machines, which last you for several years, the manufacturer loses out because new products are coming and they would like you to use those new products and discard the older ones. That's why the products these days are cheap, fragile, and unreliable. They break down too often, and their repairs are most expensive, and they most of the time they make you discard the product instead of getting it repaired. The idea is the idea is that because when a new product comes, it has new attributes to it. It has new features. It has an updated version, software updated version. So the same thing, new virus, for instance, in case of computers, they have new virus safety features. Even the processors are new and they're faster speed, and so that's why they would encourage you, the manufacturer, in a way that they tend to. By making fragile and unreliable products, they make you discard the old things and go for a new product. Sorry. So coming back to our cross-selling subject, as we are talking about the digital cameras, the second is cameras internal memory. I'm just giving you one example of cross-selling of assorted products in a cross section. So I'm sure that you must have experienced that the manufacturer keeps very limited or restricted storage capacity in the digital cameras, and the same thing is applicable in our present-day mobile phones or the cellular technology as well, for which you have to buy a separate micro SD card for storage to keep your data, like your photographs, etc., and your songs stored in that. SD memory card is basically it stands for secure digital, like it stores in a secure digital environment. So in almost all the cases, when you buy a digital camera or a mobile phone, you need to buy a separate SD card. That will cost you an additional X amount. So when you buy a product, this is additional. This is cross-selling. Then after the customer agrees to buy the memory card, you as a salesperson has to highlight the crucial need of having a protective case for your digital camera. Otherwise, the dust and finer atmospheric particles would harm the internal components of your digital camera or the mobile phone, especially the zoom lens. If in the older version it used to come out, so if the dust particles are there, it stops working. And the same thing is applicable for the power on and off button. And it's important to understand that these days nobody uses the on-off button frequently every day. So they let the product go on sleep. It uses very limited power, but it saves you from switching it on and off, and the product lasts longer period of time. So here you caution your customer that after the manufacturer's warranty is over after 1 year, if the product stops to work or malfunctions, then you need to have you definitely need a protective case. That is an additional X amount of money. Then comes in case of a digital camera, you need an additional zoom. Those customers who are excessively fond of taking amateur snapshots, they would prefer to buy extra lenses, like a wide area lens or a zoom lens. So especially for their SLR and DSLR cameras. SLR means single lens reflex mirror, and DSLR stands for digital single lens reflex mirror. They are better technology cameras, and they are for professional use basically. They create a better photography. So as a good salesperson who is focused on cross-selling, you would definitely highlight the need to that customer, that for your special moments in life, when you need to have a snapshot of a wide area, then you need to have this additional lens. So again, it is what you are exactly doing is doing cross-selling, selling an additional product to the main primary product. The idea is not here to sell you cameras or to convince you to buy cameras, but it's just to give you an example of how assorted products are sold along with the one major product. And here it is very important to understand that you don't have to pressurize your customer to buy those when you're carrying out cross-selling. You don't have to put pressure on your customer to buy those additional products. They may buy it at a later stage if they have financial constraints or a limited budget. Like in the case of that lady with her teenage daughter, they could have bought the digital camera at that time and used its internal storage memory for the time being, and later on they could have come to buy the additional micro SD card. But the salesperson failed in highlighting that aspect. So it was, I think it was ethically wrong that he did not point it out. He wanted to have a package sale, and he failed in making even the basic sale. So the customer may lose interest if you burden him up with a number of products. Then the customer may find it irritating and difficult for him to afford it, and then he or she may lose interest in the first product as well. So there is a very, very thin and fine line between selling the main product as well as carrying out cross-selling. Don't make your customer edgy by carrying out cross-selling. It's very important to understand. The second terminology which I mentioned is upselling. This is also related to cross-selling. It's called upselling. As evident from its name, upselling means that to sell an expensive product of the same nature, but a slightly expensive version of the same product. This means that if a customer which has come to you to buy a 46-inch LCD television, you convince him or her to instead go for a 55-inch or a 65-inch LED television for a number of reasons, and you can convince them. LCD, just for your information, stands for liquid crystal display. This is slightly older technology which has been overcome by LED technology, which stands for light emitting diodes. A number of bulbs at the back end. LED televisions are more sleek and more chic and stylish. LCD televisions were a little flabby and thick, difficult to maintain. And then you not only point out, it's important that when you to the customer to buy a 65-inch television, you also mention about its additional stylish features, the faster processor, and you convince them about the sophistication of the newer technology to go for, instead of buying a 46-inch television, to go for a 65-inch television. So you would be able to impress your customer that a bigger television or a better technology would have a better stabilization, voltage stabilization, and utilization features, which will, in case of any power problem, it would withstand a power failure or any short circuiting, etc. Finally, you can convince your customer. It's again a sensitive point. Sometimes you use that, if a customer would buy a 46-inch television, he or she would repent it later because you have to highlight that the viewing distance between their couch and the television is more, and they would find it irritating not having a pleasurable experience, the television viewing experience, because the distance is more. So all these things, when you highlight, you are actually carrying out upselling from 46-inch to a 65-inch with additional features, and obviously the price is more. So I hope the two terms, cross-selling and upselling, are clear to you, and you can apply it in any kind of environment and any kind of assorted products. So sales techniques. I know I'm running short of time, and I don't want to keep you tied down to me. So the two sales techniques which I want to share with you, they're called G.U.E.S.T, and the other one is called spin selling. Mind you, spin selling is not a trick or a spin which you give to a cricket ball. It stands for a systematic approach to selling a product. You will find the two techniques pretty identical to each other. The concepts are the same, but try to understand that they are everything is related to each other. Sales is such a thing which is interrelated things. Just for the copyrights issue, I must mention here that I heard the G.U.E.S.T technique in one of the electronics stores in Canada. Its name was Future Shop. The store has been closed down for the past many years, but this guest technique impressed me a lot, and I'm sure it is easy to understand. It is equally easy to practice. So, whichever path you take towards selling, try to understand the fundamental aspect which I had highlighted in the beginning. That was the understanding the need of your customer. So, I'll be frequently talking about the need of your customer. Understand your customer's need. So the guest technique in this, the G stands for greet, like greeting the customer. U stands for understand. E stands for educate. S stands for sell. And T stands for thank. So begin with the greeting. Greet means when a customer arrives, you greet him in a warm and convivial manner. As I had mentioned in the introductory part, it is essential to break the stranger barrier with your customer or any person whom you meet. You can certainly do so by exchanging pleasantries with each other, by making small talk, like discussing weather. Oh, it's a hot day today, it's pretty cold. We are expecting rain showers today. So, just begin to have a conversation with the other person. Smile is your biggest asset as a salesperson. The more you smile, it doesn't cost you anything, but you have to, the more you smile, the more comfortable the other person gets with you. The way you are doing now. You can certainly do so. And please, it's important. I always tell you to be genuine and sincere. If you believe that you are actually doing a customer a favor, you're helping him out. Like that tool man in the beginning we discussed, he believed that he was helping out the customers and he was doing a favor. So be genuine and sincere in your heart when you interact with your customers. So, remember another thing. You see, we human beings are very smart people. If the other person is not genuine or with us, we instantly find out. So the same thing applies to your customer as well. If you're faking your emotions as a salesperson, your customer would instantly find out. So he may buy a product from you, but that would not be a pleasurable experience for him or her. I remember I bought a vehicle a few years ago, and then I received an email after 1 year, and I was so pleased. I said that I have fond memories of a year-old purchase of that vehicle. That because of my interaction with the customer. So it created a bond between me as a customer and the salesperson. So even after 1 year, I remembered and I sent him an email, a thank you email. He sent to me and I sent him the email about the fond memories. So try to establish that kind of a relationship with your customer as a salesperson. So let me mention about a repeat and recurring business. It's very important and a delicate business. You may sell a product once to any customer, but these days it's very important for as a business enterprise or you as a salesperson to have a recurring business, to repeat business, because it swells your revenues, your income, and business generation. That is more important. So remember in the beginning I had mentioned about the relationship management. So the relationship management is the same concept of a recurring or repeat business. When you establish a strong bond of trust and relation and confidence with your customer, then you have a kind of a relationship. You bind together into a relationship, and then the customer would be coming time and again to you. And obviously, one customer is not a single identity. They are connected, interconnected into a social atmosphere. So in previously or in the sales environment, when you are able to make a sale to a person, you always ask for references, 5 or 10 references. So obviously then you go and sell the same product to those people, because obviously if I as a person have bought a 65-inch television, obviously I am moving into a social circle where my friends or close relatives might also be interested. So the same product could be sold to them as well. So building a strong relationship with your customer based on faith and trust is important for having a recurring or repeat business. Then comes the U, which stands for understand. Mind you, it is one thing to sell a product, taking out from the shelf and selling it to you and to your customer. But it's altogether a different environment that first you understand the need and requirement of your customer, and then sell him the right product which squarely meets his or her need. So that's why it's important to understand the customer's need. For example, if a lady comes to you to buy a moisturizing cream, I'm just giving you offhand examples. So you as a great salesperson need to ask certain questions to understand what exactly she needs. So you would begin by asking, so ma'am, is it for your own skin or you want to gift it to somebody? There could be a possibility that she's buying a product for somebody else. What type of skin do you have? Is it oily, greasy, sensitive, normal? Do you want the moisturizing cream for daytime purposes, or you would like to apply it at night only? In case of a daytime moisturizing cream, would you prefer to have SPF or sunscreen ultraviolet protection in it? SPF stands for sun protection factor and has a varied range between 15, 30 or 45, maybe even higher. So you must ask a question such as, do you have any skin allergy? Or is your skin sensitive to any specific chemical product? Would you prefer to have an organic moisturizing cream which is made from natural ingredients? Obviously, they are a bit expensive, but they are very easy and comfortable on your skin. Now, if you apply your mind by asking these simple questions, what happens? Two things have happened. First, you have understood squarely what type of a moisturizing cream that lady wants. So you have understood the appropriate requirement. And the second thing, it will help you to carry out cross-selling. If not upselling, you would be able to do cross-selling. For instance, just give you an example. If she agrees to buy a moisturizing cream, you would be able to sell the assorted eye cream, a hand balm, a foot lotion, or even a body wash. So complementary things, maybe from the same brand or from a different brand, so you can make it a group package. So obviously you did a cross-selling comfortably. So it is important for you to understand what your customer actually needs and then sell the right product to them. Then comes the third, educate, E for educate. Now again, as I said, sometimes the customer would not know what he or she wants, or maybe they are in a different frame of mind. They have wrong information that they would like to have a certain product, which you as a product expert would consider that this is not the right product for the customer. So you need to educate your customer. Because remember, it is you who has the product knowledge and you are the subject matter expert. Therefore, you have to counsel. It is your ethical and moral responsibility to advise and counsel your customer about the appropriateness of the product. Now you have two options. One is to simply take out the product from your shelf, which the customer wants, and hand it over to them. Or you educate them. You tell them that what you are asking for is not appropriate to you. Since you have asked certain questions and you have understood their situation, you have to educate them that no, I would suggest that instead of this product A, you should preferably go for product B or C or maybe XYZ. So you are in a right position to sell the appropriate product to your customer. You have to educate them. And all the time you are focusing on the need of the customer. So you can do upselling, whatever, but then we are going to discuss this ethical and moral aspect in a due course. So if a customer comes to you, the same concept, if a customer comes to you for a laptop, for his day-to-day correspondence and social media interactions, don't sell him a gaming product or something with a super high-speed processor, Beats speakers and most vivid digital card, because the customer doesn't need it. He needs it just for his everyday correspondence. So try to understand. This is a delicate aspect. So fifth comes S, that stands for sell, and that is the most hard part of actually carrying out the sale to the other person. Remember, I told you that quite often you will come across customers who are shy, who are reluctant, who are indecisive in making a huge investment and making a purchase. So they will try to evade by different questions. So here your sales skills as a great salesperson come into play. You need to reassure your customer with all your genuineness of heart that what they are doing is the right decision. They're not going to repent that. And you're going to assist them with all your knowledge and expertise. And they will not regret it. So the product is going to be a great utility to them. So you need to convince them. Most importantly, you have to highlight the necessary features, attributes of that product to your customer. And then you have to tell them, because you have asked the questions initially, so you have to relate those features with the customer's situation, that how they squarely meet your need or requirement. And that is why I have emphasized in the beginning that you need to have a proper product knowledge. So finally, you must give your contact number, your business card to your customer, and reassure them that, in case of a malfunction, in case of any problem with this product, you are there to help them. Remember, if you have this concept, this firm belief that you are actually helping out the customer, so the customer would have confidence in making a purchase. And then in case there could be a chance that the product malfunctions. So remember, you have a manufacturer's warranty to as a cushion effect. So obviously, so give your business card, introduce yourself, and remember, the most important thing when you introduce yourself and when you give your business card and reassure the customer is going to come back to you. Remember the concept of recurring and repeat business? After he has bought one product from you, he has the faith and confidence that you are the trustworthy guy, and he can have firm belief in you, and he can come back, or she can come back to you for other products as well. Here comes the indirect and direct questions. I know I'm stepping out of the time, but let's get over with this guest at least. Remember, the process of making actual sale is the most sensitive and most delicate aspect. It could be cumbersome and arduous as well. So sometimes a customer becomes frightened and simply walks out of the store. At times, the customer makes flimsy excuses that no, I have to go and discuss with my family or my wife and stuff like that. Sometimes he may point out a flaw in the product, or the customer may come out with an objection in you as a salesperson, or in a product, or in the atmosphere, in the environment, anything. So you as a great salesperson needs to be prepared with those questions beforehand. You need to anticipate. You need to be a step ahead in the mind with that customer, what he is thinking. Is he, and then immediately you have to have the right answer to satisfy that query, that objection. So that you can do by asking direct and indirect questions. Remember, we as human beings are generally averse of answering direct questions. For instance, think of yourself in a situation when a person asks you an abrupt question for which you are not prepared. What would be your natural answer? No. You would step back. You would reply no, or because you are not prepared. And then secondly, you would need some time to think for a proper answer, for a proper reply. That's why in sales, it is generally encouraged to instead ask for indirect questions. So instead of asking your customer, so are you willing to buy this product? No, that's the wrong thing. Wrong approach. Try politely asking, so don't you think, ma'am, that this moisturizing cream suits your skin type very well and will enhance its glow, vivacity, and radiance? And if I were you as a salesperson, I would humorously add, and although you look so young, ma'am, I don't think you need it for another 5 years. But if you start using it from now, you would add another 10 years to your radiant skin. So compliment them, patronize them, flaunt with them, and then appreciate them, and make them feel valuable. When you honestly make them feel appreciable, then obviously the customer would feel genuinely inclined towards you and would buy a product from you. So it's important for you to make the customer at ease. You need to give them time to think. But again, you don't have the luxury of all the time available to you because you have to attend other customers as well. So it's important for you to politely prod and push your customer to make a decision. So this is important. Do not bring a pause in your communications all the time, either making you are talking or you are making, excuse me, your customer to talk. So, and again, as I have mentioned, if you make your customer to speak, the customer would be more relaxed. And if he or she has any queries or questions or objections, you would be able to satisfy them. That's how the indirect questions come into play. I just give you three examples of the indirect questions because you have to make the customer admire the product. So if the customer begins to admire the product, you would be able to sell the product. So to the person to whom you have sold the mobile phone, you can ask, so sir, how do you anticipate spending your next 2 hours playing with your new mobile phone or Android or whatever phone and adjusting its screen settings according to your preferences? It's an indirect question. To the television customer, you would ask, so which is the first thing you're going to watch on your 65-inch LED television? Is it your favorite sports or a favorite movie? So by asking these indirect questions, you are further strengthening a customer's resolve and helping him make a decision about making a huge investment in buying the product. These questions, they not only assure the customer that they're making the right decision, but it's important for you to understand that as a human being, you are making them feel that they have the decisive power. They are in command. They are making the decision. So by these indirect questions, you let them make their own decision. Although you are helping them, but you give the feeling to your customer that they are making their own choices and they are making their own decisions and they are in the command. So finally is the word thank, T for thank. After making the sale, you must remember the cardinal principle of salesmanship. And this is the fifth one, and the last one is T for thank. Mind you, thank you is very important. It's always mentioned that smiling and thank you are the universal languages. So you must extend your genuine gratitude to your customer for them that they have bestowed their faith in you as a salesperson and bought a product from you. Although in actuality, it is you who has done a favor to them by getting them the right product. But you need to establish this strong bond of faith and trust, what I call the relationship management for the recurring business. For time and again, they're going to come. This is profitable for your company as well as it's important for your own personal repute and your image. It becomes, when they go home and they talk to different people, they would say, oh, today I met a great salesperson. His name was this. And I would recommend you to go and buy whatever your product. So that means, you are helping your own publicity without any cost by being genuine and honest and trustworthy. So I'm left with the last version, which is called spin selling. I'll end this session here. We'll come back with the third session. I know that I've overstepped my time. You may find the session monotonous, so please forgive me for that. I had not done any rehearsal for that. It was just a casual talk with you guys to get you some familiarity with the sales concept and help you understand. So I hope you have gained something about the G.U.E.S.T program, G.U.E.S.T technique. Apply it even in your personal interaction with different people. Understand, educate them, and be genuine and honest. And I assure you that you'll always derive rich dividends from your own interaction with people. So I'll come back with the spin selling in due course. Thank you very much. Keep looking for the part 3 of sales techniques. This is Adnan Qaiser signing off.